Disney Princess Sleeping Beauty. A moment to remember. And remember. I can't say she's remember. Princess Aurora sighed. She loved being married to Prince Philip. But life in the palace was so different from what she was using it to. Now that she had moved away from the haunted carriage in the forest, it seemed all she did was plan and act the parties. That night, there would be yet another royal ball, and everyone was fussing over the plans. The royal princess and the table setter couldn't agree on flowers. Princess Aurora said the royal table setter, "Could you please tell the royal flowers that our guests will never see one another if I put this big flowers in the middle of each table? Why don't you just put a single flower on each recess table?" Or on 66. The two singers looked at her. Flowers at her sentences. After all, it's my turn just here. Just then, Prince Philip entering the room. Good after he started. Princess and me, Princess Aurora, the royal student princess. But I must have you ordered on the steaming glasses. Thank you, said the princess. I will look at them. As soon as we returned, Prince Philip finished. Both Aurora and the stranger looked at Prince in surprise. Where are you going? Aurora asked. Prince Philip smiled. Out for a ride in the forest by ourselves. Aurora was delighted. It was just what she had been hoping for. The princess hurried to change into her riding outfit. Outfit different? Okay, then. But as the couple started to leave to the stable, the royal equestrian guards instead they exited the prince and princess. Who knows what dangers could be out there? The head of the guard said. Aurora knew that the forest was perfectly safe. So she leaned down and whispered to Prince Philip's horse. Suddenly, the horse whined and charged away from the palace. Aurora's horse, Buttercup, go after them! Before long, the guards were far behind. Whoa! Whoa! Summon! The prince shouted as his horse raced ahead. It's all right, Philip, Aurora called. We slowed down as soon as we lost the guards. They galloped into the forest and soon found a path through the trees. The horse followed it for a while, then stopped there suddenly. Philip sat over Suli's head and headed in a stream. No cares for you, boy, Prince Philip scolded his horse. He looked up and saw Aurora trying to hide a smile. He grinned. Do you remember this palace? Aurora asked. Philip wanted out of the stream and looked around the clearing. He pulled off his boots and drew in the water of them. Then he set them in the sun to dry. Aurora took her shoes. She spun around, gurgling and humming a tune. Yes, Philip, the princess said softly. I remember this place. This is where we first met. I heard you singing sweetly, and then we danced together for a time thirst time. I will never forget that today, said Aurora. No matter how busy we get with our royal duties. Philip and Aurora smiled. Wished they could bring the pieces of the garland back to the palace. Philip plucked a flower and handed it to Aurora. Aurora took the gift and beamed. I'm so much to say to come go horses. All these flowers. It's so good. After a beautiful afternoon together, Aurora finally said, we should go back and get ready for the ball. You go ahead, dear Prince Philip. I'll be back soon. Aurora nodded and smiled. Their walk had giving. Aurora had an idea for the ball that night. She couldn't wait to surprise Philip. Meanwhile, Philip had an idea of his own. Not a word for this to the princess, he said to her animal friends as he began to gather some flowers. At the castle, Princess Aurora worked on a little surprise for the rest of the afternoon. Sitting on a move table, and gather flowers, floor and fauna, and Mary-Chandler lit about helping whatever they could. More than once, Aurora heard a certain words. Our guests would certainly be surprised. Aurora just smiled. It is Prince Philip. I wanted to surprise, she said. No, this to him. I know this guest was confiding in me. I could show him to something. That night, Aurora had just finished getting dressed when Prince Philip came into the room. He held out a simple crown he had made from forest flowers. Would you like her to wear this too? He asked. Oh, Philip! Aurora put on the flower crown and looked at him. It's perfect for this evening. What a lovely gift! I'm thinking for and rather have around this gift. And around this gift? Aurora took Philip's hand. Now I have a surprise for you. She led the prince down the stairs and into the glass curtain. A yard is a prairie. Oh, now let's take me to and the surprise. I'm down, Jeff. Right, that's me. I might you. The curtain was just given with flowers and trees. Water danced in the fountain. Aurora's wooden friends were there too. The glen will always be in our hearts, Aurora whispers. But now it is in our palace too. Justin, King, this is much better than the stunning balls. He said to Princess Aurora, and they began to laugh like the first time they had met. This would be yes, I do. My heart. I just giving okay. what a lovely